Record. Right. Welcome, guys. Thursday. Hopefully, we're going to get to see some kind of direction today. So, as always, you obviously want to go through the news. This obviously should have been noted down in your journal as, kind of a bit more of a high impact day. So, just obviously be aware of it. We've got later on, we've got Jerome Powell speaking. They've actually removed some jobs data from today, which is interesting because we had some jobs data at 1:30 as well, which seems to have been removed. Yeah, we've still got non-farm payroll tomorrow. It's all changing now, but there was 100% jobs data here because I remember speaking about it on Sunday, about how, it's interesting that the jobs data was coming out and Jerome Powell is still speaking. Now, we've obviously got a very, very dovish um, Fed at the moment. That's one thing that we all need to be aware of. It's very, very, dovish, which means they're obviously the opposite of optimistic. They're pessimistic. They're being cautious, careful about obviously what they think, might potentially happen, and obviously how they want to act. So this is obviously surprising everyone in regards to how markets are acting. So obviously dollar is absolutely flying here. Now, there's a bit of a lesson here, all right, because for all of us, you obviously should understand this, but obviously FX works in flows of currencies. So for one currency to flow, for example, the dollar, money has to come out of something else to obviously make the dollar flow like it is. Now, one of them is yen, and then euro. I think the Prime Minister of France resigned. Um, so I haven't really looked into it. I presume it's to do with his wife or whatever. There's some suspects that she might be a he, but I don't know. But yeah, we've obviously had this resignation. So that is that is one of the one of the reasons why money has been flowing out of euro into obviously the dollar. Yen too. Um, and you've also got to look at yields, the overall performance of yields. Yeah, yes, they've been consolidating, but they haven't been dropping. So you got to think, if someone big, we obviously can't do it, but if big firms want to put their money into US yields right now, you're obviously going to be getting 4.1% on your money, so it isn't a bad investment. So because these are holding too, that's obviously keeping the dollar strong. Now, this is one thing that I am really, really focusing on. Like I always mention to you guys, just be aware around 99, 98, 500, because obviously once these break, it tends to go one way and one way only. Now, I don't know if there's enough momentum here for us to push through, 99, or if we're going to come back and test potentially 98, 700. I would anticipate until Jerome Powell's speech that obviously there is more potential for a downside move. If you look at some of the pairs here, how we've obviously opened, London so far within a couple of hours has engulfed Asia, New York, and pretty much London yesterday. So we obviously need to be aware of that. Now, that's also then, early on, we'll grade our pairs up, just so we kind of understand. So let's go, for example, we've got the US dollar at the top. We've then got CAD, which is pretty strong. It was pretty strong yesterday. We've then got Swiss. We've then got Euro, Aussie, Aussie, AD. NZD is weak, so let's go NZD, JPY, and then pound, and then we'll just compare these. All right. Oh, BBP, GBP. There we go. All right. So like always, we obviously want to be aware of this. All right. But I think if we're looking for a swing the other way on the dollar, we need to be pairing it up with these three. Yeah. These are the three here that we need to be pairing it up with. CAD, Swiss, and Euro. We're obviously not worried about anything else. Obviously, we'd want to if dollar's going to stay strong, we're going to want to be pairing it up with with these to really capitalize. So let's have a look at, for example, USD CAD, USD Swiss, and Euro USD. So Euro USD is here. We're already on it. So we've obviously had this. We've had this breakout of Asia. All right, we've broken out of Asia and London here. All right, remember we're always keeping an eye on the US dollar here. Let's just put it on a 30-minute. USD CAD. Let's just try and build a bit of an overall picture. I mean, we're technically in a bit of consolidation here. If we were to get something on the lines of like this, USD CAD's kind of trading in in this channel here. All right, we could raise it up if we really wanted to, but obviously, that's the condition as to what it's trading in. I'd say we're trading something like this, something like that. So if we were then to have a look at this, it's been obviously this would be cast as an equal low here. I am interested to see how it reacts on the Asian high. All right, that's going to be one, level here. And then obviously we're breaking back into London territory here. So if we're going to get a weaker US dollar or a bit of relief, then yeah, I would expect it isn't a very big trade, but I'd expect something like this to happen. So this would be one of the positions we'd be potentially looking at here. The other one was USD Swiss, right? Very, very, similar here. Actually, this one I really like. If I'm honest, we've had one clear drive, two clear drives, three clear drives, equal high. We obviously got we've got an equal high here. So let's mark this up here. So equal high. All right, we've rejected from this high. Let's have a look on a 15-minute. Lovely 15-minute here. One level we need to be aware of is this one here. All right, so we just need to be aware. I'm going to get rid of this one here because we don't need it. Um, so I would be pretty happy if we can break straight back into this. What would that be? Still a pretty small trade. Maybe take this a little bit further. Something like this, I'd be happy with. And then again, break, retest, and then a continuation to the downside. Now, I'm going to give alternatives too, but let me just screenshot this and get this into the group before I forget. Right, that's one. USD CAD. We obviously want to see on USD CAD, we want to see the Asia break. All right. We want to see the Asia break. And obviously, this is only if dollar has a big rejection from 99. All right, need to be aware. So I'm gonna put this in the group as well. So only if dollar rejects 99. So USD CAD. Is that this one here? USD CAD, yes. And then we've got USD Swiss. Right. So that is those two there. We're then going to look at it on the flip side, right? If we do get a bit of dollar strength here, all right? So if we go back to our euro, if we go back to the hour, I've still got that here, right? If US to dollar, obviously holds breaks, 99. We want to be trading it against these pairs here. All right, so we're going to be looking at NZD, yen, and pound. All right, so NZD, let's just have a little looky here. So, if we do get that continuation, then we're going to be looking at probably this area here, potentially a little bit higher for a continuation, and then obviously targeting these areas here. That would be obviously one that we'd be looking for. One trade here, 100%. Pound, I don't like it. But obviously, if we were, I'd probably be looking at this level here just to give us a bit more breathing room. So something like this, which is quite a big pull back here. But obviously, it just gives us a little bit of time to, yeah. So I'd be looking at pound, NZD, and USD JPY. We could potentially come back in testing Asia. Actually, this would be a nice setup. This come back here, testing Asia, and then continuing to the upside here. So the stops slightly bigger stop on this one, and then potentially a nice 1 to 3, something like this. So let me put that in the group as well, and then I'll have a look at everyone's questions. So we've got there we go. USD, JPY, buy, buy. We would have um, just mark these ones up for everyone to see, and then I'll answer some of the questions I've got down there as well. NZD, USD. Ooh, NZD, USD. And then we got USD Swiss. No, we had that one. GBP. That's just going to continue. So you know what? I'm going to hold off on that. Looking at some of the other things here. Obviously, we've got Euro, AUD. Euros. Obviously, it's had this big pump now. So Asia is 8 hours. Yeah. All right, and this has moved in an hour. All right, the whole of Asia. So to me, it just swings me off because we're going to be stuck. If I get rid of that, it's not very clear. We're going to be stuck now trading. I can't see this trading outside this area, the whole of London here. All right, because we've had such a big move here. It's quite rare that obviously we get this move here, but then it's going to be even rarer that we continue, hugely up. So this would write off Euro AUD for me and GBP AUD too. GBP NZD. was one that I was looking at, but obviously pound is overall weak. GBP CAD I did like, but I think it's moved. Euro CAD is another one here. If we look in the overall kind of picture here, we've obviously got it's trending to the downside. We're kind of trending in a little bit of a channel. Obviously got this area of previous support here, but we've also got 61, 62, which is a key level here. We could mark that one on if you wanted to. 62. Just make it OCD kicks in. There we go. So 62. Um, is there much more room to the downside? I'm sure if we look at this on an overall time frame here, we can all see this trending to the upside. If we got a key monthly level which we're approaching, then it might put you off entering. We're going to obviously want to see this break here. So yeah, I'm going to stay with what we've got at the moment. I'm pretty happy with those. Euro and NZD both not particularly the strongest. Let's just have a look at this. So I still don't like that. Let's just have a little looky here. Uh, right. Yeah, nothing really catches my eye. GBP CAD potential, but it's obviously dropped a lot. So I'm going to put this one in anyway for everyone, but I want it to come back and test this area ideally. So might not happen for a bit, but I would want this area tested if I was going to go for it. So I'm going to put this one here as well for everybody. Then I'll look at some questions. There we go. So GBP CAD. Right. GBP CAD. GBP CAD. There we go. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. Right, let's have a look here. So we got 7 message. I noticed that the USD Swiss chart looks very similar to the day chart. Is there a reason for that? The day chart or the DXY? Let's have a look. So USD Swiss, sort of 30-minute DXY. Yeah, it looks very, very, very similar. Right, right, right now it looks very, very similar. Let's just have a look here. A little bit, yeah. I mean, all of them look pretty similar, but yeah, that's a an interesting spot. It's not obviously identical. We've obviously had a lot more consolidation here. Whereas obviously we've had a huge move here and a huge move here, but yeah, it's very similar. So yeah, DXY just hit 99. Yep, it's hit 99. NZD has flown. Never thought I'd see the day with Swiss and you. T morning. Hope you're well. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. This is like I mentioned to everyone. This is what we need to be monitoring here. This area. All right, a little bit above, a little bit below. We actually want it to break out from either one of these, and then it's going to give us that overall direction. I would, my personal opinion, I would prefer there's better trades if this trades to the downside here. But obviously we cannot bank on us, or we can't look at stuff as we want this to happen. We've got to we've obviously got to, yeah, just wait and be patient, and yeah, it'll all be good. All but be good. Right, I'm going to hold it off here. I hope everyone has a great day. And yeah, we'll obviously make sure we take some money out of these markets. Have a good one, guys.